Hi there, it's Nicole here today from Mama Elephant, and today I'm showcasing the new Picnic with Friends stamps and coordinating dies, and I've paired them with the previously released On the Hills dies to build this background scene. There are two new stamp sets that work really well together, the Picnic with Friends that I'm using here today, and then Tea with Friends, which will be featured next week. And you can really mix and match. The sentiments are in the same fonts. Both feature adorable critters. And I just absolutely love them. The release for February is just incredible. I love, love, love it. I'm a huge critters fan, so of course I love everything this month. So what I'm going to do first is use On the Hills to create my background scene. I knew I wanted to create some sort of forest feeling with a landscape, and I really struggled trying to figure out what to use. And then I thought, what about On the Hills? This is probably one of my favorite releases within the last 6 to 8 months, release products, because it's so versatile. I used it for a snowy card here several months ago when we were gearing up for the holidays. That's kind of when this was released. And I thought it would be great to show that it could be used for other times of the year as well. So don't be afraid to go back and pull out those previously released products that you may have picked up at the time and use them for lots of things. What really drew me to this set was that it comes with this little set of trees that you can tuck behind the landscape borders. Now I inked up my background, which is A2 sized, with Salty Ocean Distress ink, and then my 2 landscape borders with Mowed Lawn Distress ink. Spritzed those with water from a distress sprayer and blotted them dry. Now the trees, this is what I was really looking for. I wanted something to look like there were trees in the background and that these little foxes and bunnies are sitting out having a tea party in the middle of the forest, or in this little clearing or whatever it is. That was really the look I was going for, and these products worked perfectly. I couldn't be more excited that this worked out the way I wanted it to. This whole card came together in less than an hour. That also is a huge thumbs up from me. Sometimes you love spending hours and hours maybe working on a project. Other times you want it to just kind of come together super quick. I went ahead and die cut these from Bristol Smooth cardstock as well, and I'm inking them up with Mowed Lawn again and gathered twigs for the tree trunks. For these, I am simply going to adhere these back behind my borders. So I've kind of got all my elements. I did die cut the cloud border that goes along the top. I die cut the 2 individual cloud pieces from Smooth White cardstock, and we're going to go ahead and build the background scene. This is one of those cards where I built the entire background first. Then I came back, stamped all my critters from Picnic with Friends, colored them in, added them to the scene. Boom, I was done. So very, very quick here. Really, I kind of feel like the coloring and maybe the background scene building were the most time-consuming parts, but you could create a bunch of these backgrounds and put anything you want down there along the bottom, put different greetings up high, add some other things to the sky or the background if you wanted to. But this is the kind of background that will work for so many different kinds of cards. So I've built my background. I've got my cloudy border along the top. Because most of the images, or all of the images are going to be centered on the bottom half of this card, I want the sentiment up at the top. So I just chose one of the greetings from the Picnic with Friends stamp set that reads, how lucky I am to have you as a friend. And I'm going to stamp that with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And I will go ahead and add my 2 individual clouds to the sky. I want them just kind of floating up there above the treetops. I did go ahead and clean off my sentiment. I was very much trying to clean as I went here. I'm going to tuck those 2 clouds right there, and then we will start working on all of the images, getting them stamped and colored. Since this card is for the most part coloring, I left all of that in this time. I did speed it up, but I left it all in so you could really, if you want to see exactly what I did, there it is. I will be listing the Copic marker colors I'm using in the bottom right hand corner of the screen as I'm coloring them. Another thing that I did to help speed this up, I stamped all my images with one press of the stamp platform. You could use the MISTI or any stamp positioner tool like this that you have, but it makes stamping your images and getting everything ready to color so quick and so easy. If you need to stamp them more than once to get a really good black bold outline, you can do that. It really is just essential. I don't know how I ever lived without a MISTI or a stamp platform. I really don't. I don't make a card without either using one of those tools ever. So just so handy, so much less waste. We're going to start by coloring in the tablecloth, and then I really did try to stick to anything that was red. Instead of switching back and forth between colors, I really tried, for the most part, to color anything that was going to be red, including the checked tablecloth, the cherries on top of the cupcakes, the apples, all at one time. So we'll color those in with R05, 27, and 46 before moving on to the foxes. Now, this first color I'm laying down, you guys are probably thinking that is so not even right, and it really wasn't. And I even considered, because I ended up covering it all up, the other two colors are perfect, but this color just is not. I considered not using it for the other fox laying on his tummy there, but I really do think as a base color it works. So I went ahead and left it. I did make sure and go over with YR27 and YR24 a little bit more, but there are some lighter places in my coloring where I think that YR31 shows through a little bit, and it just, for whatever reason, I really like it. For the face and the tips of the tail, tips of the ears, paws, things like that, I'm using E000, E00, and E11 with a little R20 for the cheek. The R20 is going to show up a lot more. A lot of times I will stick to R00 for highlighting cheeks if I'm coloring an animal or person that's a little bit lighter, because I don't want it to be quite so prominent. But when I've got a little more color going on, I like R20 a lot. Just remember that if you want the cheek to blend into the face a little bit better and not be so defined, go ahead and go over that with your lightest color again to soften it. So in this case, I did E000 to soften the pink cheek. Both foxes are colored exactly the same. They're just adorable. Next, we're going to concentrate on the teacups and saucers and teapot, and I used only 4 colors and kind of went back and forth with these. I used G00 and G02 for the kind of mint green color, and RV52 and RV55 for the pink color. And this is going to add just a nice pop of color and fun and whimsy to the design, I think. Even the teacups that the 2 bunnies are holding, I really did try to color anything that was these colors at the same time. So we're going to move over here to the teapot, get that colored in before we move on to the next area, which is going to be the bunnies. I tend to like to keep my bunnies really light so that they look almost white. And in order to do this, I'm very, very lightly adding warm gray 5, going over and softening that with warm gray 3. Again, not using a ton of that. It is very light, and blending out with warm gray 00. And that's even lighter still. And here's that R00 for the insides of the ears, plus I will go back and add that for the cheeks, because those bunnies need little pink cheeks too. There's actually 3 different bunny images in this stamp set, so you could use an assortment of any of them. Maybe you don't want to use the foxes. You could have all bunnies around the picnic table or whatever it might be. I just think they're darling. So fun. I think it would have been fun too, and I kind of wish I would have done it, to pull in a bird from the Tea with Friends stamp set and kind of have it floating up there along the clouds. But of course, I did not think of it till we got to the voiceover here. So I've already photographed my card. I'm not going to go back and do that now, but just a little suggestion or an idea. So if you guys picked up both stamps and dies and you want to do that for your card, I think it would be darling to pull in some of the birds from the Tea with Friends. So after I have colored everything in here, I have die cut them with the coordinating Picnic with Friends dies, and it's time to add everything along the bottom edge to fill in this scene. So starting with my bunnies sitting back behind, the little tablecloth and their picnic set up here kind of in the center, the other little fox laying down on his tummy looking at all the goodies, and then of course the rest of the accessories, which are the teapot, the apples, and the additional cupcakes. And we just want to add a scattering of these. You can use as many or as few of these as you want to. I thought that they were just way too cute, and so I pulled in a ton of them because I really, really like them. And I did move things around just a little bit if I didn't like it so much. Like, I felt like I was getting too heavy over on the right side, so I moved that one cupcake back over. Once that's done, I am going to go ahead and take white and black jelly roll pens, add highlights with my white pen, add some little dots to the cheeks, add accents to the cups, the saucers, the teapot, anything like that, little highlights to the cherries, on top of the cupcakes, to the apples, and then we'll take a black jelly roll pen and go over the nose and the eyes on the foxes, and then go ahead and even maybe some little dot detail here and there on some of the other images. Then we'll take the whole panel, add this to a white top fold card base, grab a coordinating envelope, and this card featuring the Mama Elephant Picnic with Friends stamps and dies is all done. I hope that this has inspired you to maybe look back at some of those die basics that you have from Mama Elephant and incorporate them with your new stamps and dies for spring. Thanks for joining me today as I showcase new stamps and dies from Mama Elephant. The supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Please subscribe for weekly card making and stamping videos. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll catch you next time.